Okay, so we are now going to see some of the deployment options available on the AWS. So part of your role as a solution architect professional is going to understand the right deployment option for the right situation. So let's say go over the different options that you have. First, you have a vanilla EC2 instance, and then you would use a data for the first launch to customize your application. That is a very simple deployment, and it works just fine. And now you can build also an AMI for things that can be too slow to install through the EC2 user data. For example, if you need to install runtime such as a Java runtime, updates, tools, monitoring, and etc. etc. All these things that can be installed ahead of time, you would install it on the EC2 instance. Then you would create an AMI out of that EC2 instance, and then you would use that AMI for the future deployments, and that will help you speed up the deployments by a lot. But still, you can use the EC2 user data for the quick runtime setup for things that are dynamic, things you cannot predict in advance. Okay, and next you could use like the auto scaling group with a launch template or the launch configuration, and that could be relying on the AMI that you have created from before. That is going to be a little bit better because this deployment option allow you for the more resiliency in case your instance gets terminated. New one will be created. New one will be created that can be auto scaling as well. First feature. So this is going to be great as with the auto scaling. Then we have same code deploy, and here we are doing application deployment. So you need to remember, code deploy is not to deploy new AMI, it is to deploy new applications. And for this, we have in place updates on EC2, in place updates on auto scaling groups, new instances being created on auto scaling groups, traffic shifting for AWS Lambda, and new task sets for the Elastic Container Service plus traffic shifting. Now you have to remember exactly how these work because the exam will test you on that. So then we have the Elastic Beanstalk, and the Elastic Beanstalk is going to be very helpful when you want to migrate an application from on-premises to the cloud. And therefore, once it is in the Beanstalk, you can do several types of upgrades for your application. When you deploy it, okay, you can do in place all at once upgrades. You can do rolling upgrades, with or additional instances like batch, with or without batch. You can do immutable upgrades with new instances, or blue-green update entirely the stack with a different stack. So next we have OpsWorks, is when you are going to have Ceph or Puppet already in place, and so you want to just leverage them also in the cloud. OpsWorks will therefore manage your elastic load balancers and your EC2 instances, but OpsWorks here does not manage your auto scaling group. When it comes to deploying Lambda function, the best in class way of doing it is using the SAM framework. And so SAM behind the scenes will leverage CloudFormation to deploy Lambda functions. And in case you are upgrading your Lambda function, then it will also leverage code deploy. And then finally, if you want to deploy any kind of infrastructure, but using the code, using a programming language, then you would use the CDK. So the CDK, the Cloud Development Kit, is an interface to create like the cloud infrastructure using a programming language. But behind the scenes, it will compile into a CloudFormation template, and that will be uploaded onto the CloudFormation service. So that's it for all these things. If you understand the difference between all of these, you are pretty much set for the exam. But remember, the actually devil lies in the details. So make sure you are also very comfortable with all the details and actually subtle differences of these services. And all right, that's it for this lecture, and I hope you liked it, and I will see you in the next one.